Good morning. Welcome to Reading the Science of Mind in 1 Year. I'm Reverend Rafe, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader at the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is June 11th. So let's get started listening to our reading and seeing what comes alive in us this morning.
Reading for June 11th, Science of Mind, A Philosophy of Faith, A Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 224, paragraph 3, through page 225, paragraph 1, using inclusive language. Repeating treatments. A treatment is a specific thing. When you are treating to neutralize any particular form of disease, your words should be spoken in such a way as to neutralize a belief in the necessity of the condition. Each treatment must have in itself everything necessary to cover the case. When you treat, resolve things into thought. Bodies, people, objects, and all things. Everything is a thing of thought. Having resolved everything into thought, know that disease is neither person, place, nor thing. It has no location, does not belong to anyone, cannot operate through anyone. Know that it is a false image with no power, and then you are ready to mentally dissolve it. Always come to a complete conclusion when giving a treatment. Always feel that it is done, complete, and perfect, and give thanks for the answer as if it were already objectified. In the interval between treatments, do not carry the thought of the patient around with you. To do so is to doubt, and this mental attitude must be completely overcome. Each treatment should be a complete statement of the reality of being. The treatment should be repeated daily until a healing takes place. If it takes 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, or 5 years, the treatment must be kept up until a healing is accomplished. This is the only method we know. It is not enough to say that everything is all right. This is true in principle, but in fact and in human experience, it is only as true as we make it. Treat until you get results. A healing takes place when the patient is no longer sick, and until such time, mental work should be done.
All right. So we're continuing on this journey of looking at healing from illness. And it's I just want to acknowledge that um, it's a touchy topic, uh, and I think it's one that challenges our belief systems the most. Um, and I spoke about this briefly yesterday morning. That loop that happens, that you know, illness in and of itself is predicated on the idea of wrongness. Something's happening that's wrong. And our human tendency seems to be to treat, to rid ourselves of what's wrong rather than to treat for an experience, an objectification of what's right, what's already present. Um, and that can be challenging, right? Um, to Instead of treating for the absence of something, we treat to experience the presence of something, uh, the presence of our whole, perfect, and complete health, the presence of a vibrant body, the presence of a perfect weight, the presence of freedom of movement in our joints, um, the presence of the perfect harmony and operation of one organ with the other, to to keep our treatments focused on the presence of. Uh, and I really appreciate what it says about, not carrying the idea of the patient around in our heads, because that's doubt. Um, and it's challenging to let go of that, right? If we're treating for ourselves, if we're treating for someone else, there seems to be a mental operation that happens with us, um, that's more clearly defined for me anyway, when I'm thinking of, when I'm treating for other people, because it's easy to go, well, I wonder how so and so is doing with that. Well, that is a level of doubt, because if I really believe my treatment, then I know how they're doing. They're doing exactly what the treatment speaks. Um, Again, it's that waiting to see it in form before we actually believe it. And the challenge there is that what we're actually believing is that it's not going to happen. So we actually prove these teachings by making it not happen. Um, with myself, it's a little bit more challenging to believe that the idea of illness is no longer active in my physical body while I'm experiencing the symptoms of something. Right? It becomes a little more challenging. And we don't say that, if I've got a fever of 105, I don't pretend like I don't have a fever of 105. And I can still confirm, I can still affirm, I can still declare that nothing has gone wrong, that I am still the power and presence of one divine infinite substance that is whole, perfect, and complete. And that is expressing right now as my physical being. And to really anchor into that and to keep repeating that until it ferrets out and neutralizes every thought in me that silently, covertly negates my treatments, even as I'm speaking them. That subconscious doubt, the beliefs that are under the waterline in that uh, iceberg example, if you will. Because ultimately, there is a lot operating in our subconscious basement level, unexamined thoughts that are constantly negating the desires of our hearts being made manifest, objectifying in this physical realm. And so the journey continues to identify those hidden thoughts, neutralize those hidden thoughts, and all of that happens by practicing the presence of what is. And with that, I'm going to take us into our 5-minute meditation practice, and I will close us out with a spiritual mind treatment. Here we go. one power, everywhere present. This one power is the source, the substance, the activity of all that I call life. It is the unseen substance expressing itself in the multiplicity of form. God, Buddha, Allah, the great mystery, the universe, spirit, the infinite, consciousness. These are some of the names that we know this one by. And yet it is so much more than any name and all names. It is the known and the yet to be known, the seen and the yet to be seen, the invisible substance that is the presence of life everywhere present. And knowing that I am that in form, I know the inseparability of this one substance from itself. And I recognize and affirm the limitations of human language that seem to place this one outside of myself. So I claim here and now the reminder that finite words can never fully express the finite, the infinite being. So I know in my internal realm the wholeness and the completeness and the perfection of my being. And so I allow my words to align with my internal knowing. I intentionally pause and breathe and allow the most complete word to come into my awareness, to be in integrity with my thinking, with my thought, with my words, all focused on the objectification, the bringing into form, the making real in this physical realm all that I desire to experience, all that creation desires to express as me in this physical form, all that any physical form, any representation of this one desires to experience in form is known in one mind, is known and recognized and acted upon by the activity, the lawful activity of the creative process. That aspect of one that simply does, that uses infinite intelligence to seemingly magically pull everything together to perfectly manifest the outcomes that we desire to experience. I claim and affirm physical wholeness is already present in my physical being and in the physical being of every expression of life. And I bring forth that awareness that each expression, each of us is an individualized one of a kind, never to be repeated divine idea of creation, to know and be itself in the form of us. And so I declare an experience of the perfection, the harmonious operation of one within our own physical bodies, that we are literally moved to eat the perfect food, that our body operates with perfect assimilation and elimination, that every joint in our being moves with ease and grace, that every muscle does its perfect job. All is truly well and expressing perfectly as each of us. And I hold this prayer daily, hourly, knowing that as I do, the activity of creation that we call law acts upon every word, every thought, making it so in this objective physical world. So I know that law has already acted upon it, already made it so, and that my joy now is to move forward, knowing it's already done, so that I see it and feel it and experience it in this physical realm. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.